It's April 24th, 2026. I'm going to be washing the dishes and complaining about anti-black racism. Because, okay, I don't know how long ago the video was made because my twin is the one who clicked on it, and also PSA. The twins gardening title of this channel is literal. We are literally twins. There's two of us. I'm usually the one posting animal videos and shit. Maybe you can tell our voices apart. I don't know. My phone's yelling at me to move back for improved focus, but that's too damn bad. Our dish basin had a crack in it because the cats like to sit in it, even though they're not supposed to, so I have to run the water. But presumably recently, I don't know, because I'm not the one I'm not the twin who clicked on the fucking video, so I didn't see the date or anything. But here on YouTube, another YouTuber named Crowcaller, who I just checked is also on Tumblr and is bigender and identifies as both a man and a woman and uses both he/she pronouns, says no preference, any variation is fine, so I will just be referring to him as he or she throughout and switching back and forth. That's not anything to do with anything, that's just exploiting the pronoun situation. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, Crowcaller has a video, possibly posted recently, maybe not, reviewing the book Save the Pearls by Victoria Foyt. Or maybe I was reading it wrong and it's Fort. I don't know. Pretty sure it's Victoria Foyt. The book is... Whoa, kitty cat. You don't need to be... Come here. You can sit on here. Sit right here. Sit there and look cute. Thank you. You don't actually need to be up on the counter. I'll nudge you with my elbow because my hands are wet. That was the sound of Polychrome jumping into the sink for some reason. Save the Pearls, I guess the full title is Save the Pearls, Revealing Eden, is, to put it simply, it's anti-black, racist. It's fucking racist. The cover literally has a white girl in blackface. She's half in blackface with her hair blackened with fucking coal, and then half in her pure, ethereal, white, blonde, real face and hair. And the plot of the book is that black people in a post-apocalyptic future, black people have taken over and have enslaved white people to the same level that white people did to black people, where white people are only allowed to get married. I'm just paraphrasing. I wasn't really paying attention to the start of the video because I was doing something else, and my twin was mostly the one listening to it. But I started paying attention at the end when Crowcaller started being racist. I think it's like white people are only allowed to have kids and marry a black person to do eugenics to wipe out white people, and black people are referred to as coals. Like that's not a real world fucking slur. And like and then white people as the slur against white people is pearls, even though pearls are fucking valued. And the entire thing is just racist. And I'm washing the dishes and complaining about Save the Pearls and shit. And cowardly fucking white people who are totally fine with criticizing white men, or just men in general, when they're writing misogynistic shit. Nobody has a problem calling that misogyny and how you can obviously tell that guy's a misogynist. But I'm getting ahead of myself for the video. Okay, so the author, Victoria Foyt, is just writing a fucking reverse racism, great replacement book that unironically says reverse racism is real and the Great Replacement conspiracy is real. Black people are going to rise up and kill white people and breed out whiteness with eugenics and forced breeding programs the exact same ways that white people have actually done in real life. The book is racist. The author is fucking racist. And Crow Collar is racist. And just wait, because the author, I guess, I don't remember what year this book came out, but it was apparently a thing to make book trailers where you make a little ad, you make a little, like, a movie trailer, but for a book, which Victoria Foyt did. And it literally has Victoria Foyt, the author of Save the Pearls, is a white woman, and she literally paid another white woman to put on blackface and get in front of a camera and pretend to be this poor, innocent, beaten down white girl who has to pretend to be black in order to stop being brutalized by the big scary black people who literally run society, and literally has to pretend to be on the verge of crying and in desperate need of our rescue. Do you need to go to the hospital for that?
No, that's literally just normal.
Okay.
Hospitalization is within, like, minutes that you actually have anaphylactic.
Okay.
Which is when you're actually, like, sick. This is literally normally lasts, like, weeks.
Did you put ice on it?
No, this is already done.
This is about a fire ant bite, by the way.
But anyways, I came over here to say, it's even worse. We don't know if she was paid for that. She might have volunteered.
No, because they're book trailers. That was like a thing you would get. Because I'm pretty sure the video we watched about this shit a while ago mentioned it was a whole industry. I'm pretty sure that the person in blackface got paid to do it. And that's a job she accepted. As a fucking white woman. No, you kitties don't have to come up on the sink. You already drank all your water. I'll get you more water. Hold on. I'll get you fresh water. These cats act like their water bowl is empty even when it's halfway. No, you can't come over here. You gotta go on the floor. You've never been allowed on the sink. Look, you're making stuff. Get down. Off. You want fur? You want water on your fur? If I'm gonna have to pick you up, you're gonna get wet. There you go. And I'm gonna rinse the cat fur off my hand. Anyways, long story short, Victoria Foyt, the author of Save the Pearls, literally paid, who is a white woman, literally paid another white woman to literally put on blackface and pretend to be brutalized by the big, scary black people in charge of society who want to eradicate white people through eugenics. Crow Collar plays this whole trailer, I'm pretty sure it's the whole fucking thing, on his video. And I think before the video started was when his fucking racism began. Blatantly, it was present at the start, but I wasn't really paying attention, but, like, not even barely paying attention, and I was still picking up on it and fucking annoyed by it, to the point I did say multiple times, just end this fucking video. It's annoying. Anytime I get a fucking bad vibe and say, just close the fucking video, this person's a fucking creep, it gets worse, and I am proven right. Like that fucking weirdo lady who claimed that critical thinking skills is a terrifying concept. And oh my god, look at this gobbledygook, and it's literally just academic speech because it's an academic research paper for, yeah, children should have critical thinking skills and be able to think about stories. And she's just here making astounded faces like this is the most ridiculous and otherworldly thing that's completely unbelievable, that we all of the people watching the video totally agree with her that this is like unbelievable levels of ridiculousness and ununderstandableness, right? I don't know what the fuck her name is, but yeah, like she just started talking and started saying shit, and I could tell it was not going well, and then I'm like, just close this. And then my twin's like, no, just see where it goes, and then it goes badly. Anyways, yeah. I'm getting the timeline of the events mixed up, but I'm pretty sure before this fucking trailer was shown in Crow Collar's video, she was already saying that it's not fair to call Victoria Hoyt, the author of this book, racist, because Crow Collar is claiming that the book isn't actually about race at all, because there's a plot about fetishizing a black man who is literally part animal, and Crow Collar's claiming that not only is that not about race at all, it's that it's not fair to call the author who wrote this shit racist, because, well, this is just what she wrote in the book. It's not fair to call her racist for that. And then, after saying this stuff, we were shown the fucking trailer where this author literally paid another white woman to put on blackface and pretend to be brutalized and terrified of the scary black people. And Crow Collar is saying over and over and over again that this book isn't about race. It's not racist, and it's not fair to call this author what she fucking chose to be, which is racist, quote unquote, just because she wrote a racist book that Crow Collar is claiming isn't racist. So not only did Crow Collar show the blackface without... Oi! What did Crow Collar give any warning before showing the blackface? Because I don't remember one. Did you hear me? I don't remember there being a warning about, like, I'm going to show you the trailer and it shows a white woman in blackface. Skip to XYZ if you don't want to see that or anything like that. I don't remember there being something like that in the video. Maybe there was, but I don't fucking remember it. Yeah. So, Crow Collar literally claiming that this book isn't about race at all. And the reason that it's not about race is that it's about literally a racist caricature. The love interest is a black man who is literally half animal, and they are literally living, I believe, in South America with a tribe that worships them as their fucking gods, including the white woman. And Crow Collar's claiming
and
that...
the second book confirms that they are literally chosen of the gods.
There's a second book?
Yes.
I thought, okay.
Reads with Rachel reviewed both of them.
Okay,
The third one is
I
the
was
one
getting
that never
confused.
came
I thought the second book was the one that didn't... Okay, there's a second book in
was
this
gonna be a
series.
trilogy.
This was going to be a trilogy. Okay, that makes it worse. So Victoria Hoyt published 2 fucking books in this series, and it was meant to be a trilogy, but never published the third one because people finally fucking put up such a goddamn uproar that she's like, okay, fine, I won't do that. So the second book literally confirms that the black guy, whose name I don't know, and this white woman, whose name I also don't fucking know, literally are the gods of the South American tribe. I'm pretty sure they're in South America. They're not in Africa. I can pretty much guarantee
They
are in South America.
They're down like the Amazon or something.
That's-
and
yeah.
Apparently the second book opens after the first one's like pure sci-fi and shit. And the second book apparently opens from the perspective.
Oh, here's a... It spun. I was like, where did they go? Yeah. Not only... So, Crow Collar's taking a book where the fucking white woman main character is literally in blackface on the cover. And it's a dystopia. Reverse racist dystopia where black people have taken over the world and are doing to white people what white people have actually, truly, really done in real life. And black people are scary and are doing eugenics on white people. And Crow Collar is claiming that this isn't about race at all because, well, the main plot is an anti-black racist caricature of a black man as animalistic and huge and so protective of the dainty white woman, like this isn't literally an anti-black caricature. And Crow Collar is claiming that not only is this not about race at all, that it's claiming that it's not fair to call the author racist for writing all of this shit and literally spending money to put somebody in blackface to promote this book. And Crow Collar is saying this shit isn't racist, and it's not fair to call the author racist, quote unquote, just for doing these things. And Crow Collar is not the first fucking person to pull this shit, but it is the most recent one. We watched this video a few days ago, and it's been pissing me off ever since. And I have to wash the dishes. And I can't listen.
3 years ago.
The video?
Yeah.
Okay, apparently the video is from 3 years ago, but you know what? It's literally still up, which means he is still fucking taking credit for this bullshit and still agrees with it. If I made a video this fucking racist 3 years ago and was still posting shit on YouTube, I would not only delete it, I would fucking apologize. But that hasn't happened. The video is still up. And he's claiming that you can't call this author racist just because she did. And then the entire video is just dedicated to showing all of the racist things that Crow Collar is claiming are not racist. Like, not even... Yeah, apparently, as you probably cannot hear from the other room, it's racist in isolation, supposedly. These things are individually racist, but totally not racist when taken all together, somehow, so that it becomes unfair to call this author racist. That's not how this shit works. As though I was going to say something else and then I forgot.
Because as we all know, racism is not a someone being racist is not a statement of fact about their actions and patterns of thinking. It's a dire insult that dishonors you. And it only applies to people who are marching proudly in white sheets through the streets.
And sometimes not even then. What I was going to say is... What's that? Where'd you get that?
Amazon. The ones you added to the cart.
I forgot about those. I didn't mean to actually buy them, but okay. That works.
It says direct sow in early spring.
We have native lupine seeds. Woohoo! I didn't think we were actually getting those, but okay. I just wanted to think of the scientific name. I was going to buy from somewhere other than...
Well, we can get genetic diversity.
Okay. I was going to say, and Crow Collar wasn't even framing this in the white-centric way of, oh, you can't call this author racist. She's actually grown as a person. Look at all the good stuff she's been doing ever since. Like, she started a nonprofit or something like that. Like, not even that. And that would be bad enough because I guess people do need to hear this. White people especially. White people don't get to forgive people for being racist. Because we are not the ones affected by racism. You can't forgive somebody for committing a crime against another person because you are not the fucking victim. White people don't get to forgive other white people for being racist. You're not forgiving them for being racist. You're just joining in on the fucking racism. But that's not even what was going on here. Crow Collar wasn't saying, like, we can't call this author racist because she's done all this good stuff to quote-unquote make up for it. No, just flat out saying we can't call this author racist, despite all of the racism. Want to check how long that video is? I don't know how long the video is, but literally the entire video is showing everything that is racist in the story and every racist decision this author, Victoria Foyt, chose to make. And then Crow Collar's ending fucking theme is, but you can't call the author racist because reasons. Even though I've made this entire video that just does nothing but show all of the racism, including literally showing the fucking blackface without warning, I'm pretty goddamn sure. Maybe there was a warning, but I don't remember there being anything like, okay, I'm about to show you the trailer that includes blackface, and you can skip ahead to this timestamp if you want to skip it, and because I understand if this would be upsetting to you. I don't remember anything like that. I don't remember a warning. Maybe there's a warning at the start, but it's just kind of a generic, get out of the trash can. Get down. Thank you. Good boy. That was adorable. You want to chirp louder? Hello, Mr. Lupin. Being adorable. Aww. Yes. Yes. Crow Collar treated the blackface in this book trailer as simply cringy and embarrassingly funny instead of just abject, infuriating racism. Like, it reeks of racism. It's not... You're adorable. Mr. Lupin is adorable. You gotta stay down there. Thank you. I see your cute little face. You wanna come pet this little baby? You're so cute. He's just squinting up at me. You're so adorable. I can't pet you. My hands are soapy. Crow Collar treats this... You're so cute. He's just standing up on his hind paws, looking up on the counter. There's nothing up here for you. Thank you. Crow Collar treats this like it's funny in an embarrassing way and not just horrifying. Just the fact that anybody within the fucking... After 2000, let's just fucking say. Just the fact that anybody could ever think this shit is acceptable. And instead of treating it like the horrifying, just disgusting levels of racism that it is. I think I removed it from our watch history so that he didn't get a fucking view from it. I don't even know if that's how that works. Her pronouns are she, her, and he, him in any variation. Yeah. Crow Collar just treats the whole thing like it's an embarrassing, silly joke that we should be feeling secondhand embarrassment about. And ow! Ouch! That was my leg! That was Mr. Lupin attempting to stretch and just sticking his claws in my leg lightly. Now he's waltzing away. You guys are he's just distracting me. He just treats it like it's a joke. And instead of just, like, infuriating, violence-inducing levels of anti-black racism. And then literally just keeps repeating, but it's not fair to call this author racist just because she did all of this shit and made all of these racist decisions and literally wrote 2 books, planned to do 3, about how literally the Great Replacement Theory is real and white people have to be afraid of black people or the black people will do eugenics to get rid of white people and do all the things that white people have actually fucking done and are still doing today to white people. And Crow Collar has the gall to say you can't call this author racist because reasons. What are the reasons? There's no reasons given besides it's just a book and I guess books can't hurt anybody. Even though literally nobody would be afraid, nobody who pretends to be a feminist at least, would bat an eye about calling a white... If a fucking man wrote... Well, you know, this doesn't even need to be hypothetical. Men write misogynistic stories all the time. They reduce their female characters to misogynistic stereotypes. The women either are hot and sexy and available sexually to the protagonist, or they are bitches who are frigid and evil and will probably die or get fat, which these people consider to be worse than death. Get down. Before the story's over. And people who pretend to be feminists, and pretend to be progressive, which Crow Collar is doing, would have zero problem and have no problem with understanding that, yeah, the men writing these stories... Can you please stop? Hold on, you're gonna get tangled. That's my leg. Don't put your claws in it. Now he's just nuzzling me, walking away again. Bye. Nobody has a problem pointing out that men who write misogynistic stories at all times and have all of their female characters as misogynistic stereotypes and use their stories to uphold misogyny and patriarchy and rape culture. Nobody who pretends to be pretends to be progressive, has any problem acknowledging that yes, there is in fact a direct fucking correlation between how people in the majority, like men in this case, or white people in the case of, say, the Pearls, and other things. I was clearing my throat to make a point, now I just swallowed dust. Hold on. Okay, I'm getting a drink because I was clearing my throat to make a point. Nobody ever has a problem when it comes to misogyny, at least. Not people who, or other topics that progressive people will claim to care about. Let's say queer rights. Just fighting homophobia, fighting transphobia. Everybody understands that J.K. Rowling is a fucking bigot towards trans people because of what she chooses to write and how she chooses to write. The problem there is, even the people who will admit that she's a bigot towards trans people still won't admit that she's racist or ableist or fat misogyny. Despite the way, her writing is racist, ableist, and fat misogyny. And this is because... No, you don't need to jump up here, I promise. Get down. You don't need to come up here. Only because we've literally been having to hound them at every goddamn second to quit their shit. Okay, anyways. People who are progressive will only admit that there's a correlation between how the majority treats minorities in fiction and how they view those same minorities in real life. When a man writes nothing but misogynistic stories filled with misogynistic caricatures, everybody who pretends to be a feminist will happily admit that obviously that man is a fucking misogynist, and you can literally tell because that's all he writes. That's what he's writing. His misogyny is reflected in his writing because he's writing misogyny as a good thing. But all of a sudden, those basic critical thinking skills and basic fucking view of reality, the fact that bigots will tend to write what they agree with in real life, that flies out the window as soon as we start talking about anti-blackness or other forms of racism written and perpetuated by white people. Crow Collar is not the first, and she will not be the last, but it is the one most recently brought to my attention, and it is infuriating. Because she literally made the entire fucking video, it's at least an hour long, I don't fucking know how long it is, showing all of this racism, including the literal blackface. And then still wanted to claim that this book had nothing to do with race, wasn't about race whatsoever, and it's not fair to call the author racist. As though calling the author racist is some fucking thing that is forever damning Victoria Hoyt to, I don't fucking know, eternal damnation and torture that will never relent, no matter what, instead of just stating basic facts of reality. You are your actions. You are not what you think or what you feel. You are what you do, at least as far as other people are concerned. It doesn't matter what your motivations for doing something are. If you do it, the consequences of your actions is what everybody else has to suffer through and suffer with and deal with. If you take racist actions and you repeatedly double down on them especially, then you are racist. That's how it works. Racism isn't part of your fucking soul. It's describing your actions. If you are a white person and you pay, or even non-black, or anything, and you pay somebody to put on blackface, you pay a white woman to put on blackface and promote a book that's about reverse racism and says reverse racism is real, and the Great Replacement Theory is real, you're racist. If you write a fucking book saying that the Great Replacement Theory is real, and you better watch out, because if the black people... Huh? Yeah, from off screen, I'm being told, if you say watch out for them with a capital T, because, you know, all of the conspiracy theories, if you write a book that says the Great Replacement Theory is real and you should be scared of black people, because if things were reversed, they would do the same things to us that we actually did to them. Here's this imagined scenario that I made up in my head where black people are in charge and are racist against white people. Isn't that so scary? If you do that, you're racist. It doesn't matter that your motivation was to supposedly author said, oh, my intention was to show people that racism is bad. Yeah, that might have been your intention, but what you literally did is reinforce racist stereotypes, especially because the literal male love interest, which Crow Collar describes as not being about race at all, is literally an anti-black caricature that many people have spoken about over the past decade. This video's only from 3 years ago. It's not like this information hasn't been fucking widely available if you're actually looking for it and listening to people. The stereotype that black men are strong and animalistic and possessive, especially of their white, dainty, tiny, you can almost say childlike girlfriends or wives or love interests, that's been getting fucking decried for fucking decades now. Because that's a fucking racist caricature. It is literally portraying black men as animalistic. And in this book, it's literal. He is literally half animal. I don't fucking know how, because that's the part of the video I wasn't fucking paying attention to. But he is literally half animal. So he's literally not fully human. And at any point, somebody could have fucking stepped in before this shit was published and unleashed on the world. Somebody could have stepped in and said, hey, that's not fucking cool. You can't do that. That's racist. Okay, so this was self-published. That doesn't excuse the other authors we're going to discuss, assuming my video doesn't, or my battery doesn't die. Because Martha Wells is not self-published, in case you were wondering. She's with a traditional publisher with all of the oversight that that's meant to imply. Oversight and quality control. But yeah. The long and short of it is, Crow Collar made a video literally showcasing all of the racism that Victoria Hoyt chose to enact, and then Crow Collar decides to just keep saying over and over, despite being the one who chooses to show us this racism, that it's not fair to call the author racist just because she did all this racist shit. And that's not how this works. Step A, if you are a white, and to top all of this off, Crow Collar says, I'm white, so I won't criticize the racism. And he said that after going on and on and on about how it's not fair to call this racism. And then follows that up by saying, I'm white, so I won't criticize racism, because me as a white person criticizing racism would be the real racism. I'll leave that for the actual people of color to talk about. And it's like, you have failed literal step 1 of being anti-racist. Get down. You don't need to be on the counter. Just sit back on the chair. That's why I put it there.
Where my black one is?
Nope. Is it blending in the couch?
I think it does have a black edge.
You should put some neon on it. What was I saying? You distracted me. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, this. Okay. If you as a white person refuse to criticize racism, you're not being anti-racist, you are literally upholding white supremacy. You are choosing not to criticize the very fucking foundation of all of your privilege in life. I am white. That is why I keep making videos like this. Because, okay, not about racism, but I am trans, I'm disabled, various things. Do you know how fucking exhausting it is to be the only fucking person standing up for your fucking group as someone of that group and directly impacted by the bigotry that you have to deal with? Thank you, adorable little kitty. You're so cute. You are adorable. Look how tall you are. Sorry, talking about Mr. Lupin. He's still tiny, but he is getting big. If you as a white person literally get this whole fucking video where you're saying it's not racist, you can't call the author racist, and then you follow up by saying, well, I'm white, so I won't criticize racism. That's not anti-racism. That is not listening to black people or other people of color. You are literally just upholding white supremacy. If you are trans and if you're trans, you understand that the phrase silence is violence. You understand, or at least you're claiming to, you understand that when only the people in the minority group are trying to protect the people of that minority group, it not only doesn't work very well, it's also pointlessly exhausting for the people of that group. Oh, is this it? It's right here. Or is this just a regular marker?
It'll be apple barrel.
This is just a regular marker. Bring me any other dirty dishes. Okay, back up. To put it most simply, if you are white, you have a moral obligation to criticize racism when you fucking see it. You have a moral, and what?
Let's call it what it is.
Yes, you have a moral fucking obligation if you are going to call yourself not racist, let alone anti-racist. You have a moral obligation to criticize racism whenever you see it, and you need to actually call it what it is and not fucking coddle racist white people's feelings. And especially not defend them against the people calling them racist, which is what Crowcaller chose to fucking do. She chose to fucking defend Victoria Hoyt and claim that it's going too far to call Victoria Hoyt, the white woman who paid another white woman to wear blackface and pretend to be traumatized and desperate for protection from the scary fucking black people who were doing reverse racism and the Great Replacement theory. Crowcaller is racist for defending racism because this is an action that she chose to take. Just like Victoria Foyt chose to write this racist fucking book, chose to continuously double down when criticized for it, and chose to publish a second fucking book in the series. The fact that she didn't publish the third one is bare minimum. That's not something to celebrate. That's bare fucking minimum. Especially because she was claiming to be anti-racist the whole fucking time. And Crowcaller, and not just Crowcaller, but I can't remember anybody else's fucking names at the moment, love doing this shit. They will call out misogyny and call misogyny what it is. They'll call hatred of queer people what it is. But as soon as we start talking about racism, then all of a sudden, I'm white, so I'm not qualified to call a spade a spade. I'm not qualified to criticize racism. The real anti-racist thing I can do as a white person is not say anything bad about racism. And Crowcaller pulled this bullshit, which is it's literally just covering your own fucking ass and not trying not to piss off the white supremacists because you're friends with them. If you as a white person refuse to criticize racism, you are literally upholding white supremacy. This isn't a complicated fucking concept. You are just racist, and you are upholding racism on purpose because it makes you uncomfortable to do anything else. Are there any other dirty dishes, or was that all of them? Okay. Old cat. Oh. Crow Collar literally made this whole fucking video and then just kept saying over and over, but it's not fair to call the author racist for this. You shouldn't call her racist. That's not fair. It's not even about race. It's about this love story instead. And then the love story is literally just more racism on top of the rest of the racist story. But Crow Collar wants to pretend all of this isn't racism, and it's totally not about race at all. Even though it's just a silly love story of two people in the jungle. And it's an interracial relationship where the black man is literally part animal, and they are living in South America and being worshipped as gods by the natives. And who are literally named after a real fucking tribe. And of course, the white author made shit up about them and bastardized their real religion to force it to fit her bullshit, fake, racist story that worships literal white people as gods. And Crow Collar wanted to claim none of this was about race, and it's not fair to call the author racist, and then follow this up by saying, oh, I won't criticize racism because I'm white, so I'm going to let people of color be the ones to criticize it. And it's like, you literally say that towards the end of the video after you've spent all this time saying it's not racist. So, you as a white person, Crow Collar, if you're watching this, so you decide that as a white person you won't criticize racism, but you will claim that racism isn't racism? And that it's not fair to call somebody racist just for doing checks notes, extremely racist fucking things? The answer is, you are just racist, and you are doing racism. Because racism is what you do. You cannot simultaneously claim immunity from having to criticize racism because you're white, and then literally claim, as a white person, that the racism that black people and brown people and everybody who actually thinks racism is bad have been decrying for years. And then, hold on. She literally wants it both ways. Just like most bigots want it both ways. They want the best of both worlds. They want all the praise, but none of the fucking responsibility. They want the privilege, but they don't want any of the fucking accountability. Crow Collar wants to be able to say that it's not fair to call the author racist just because she did all this racist shit. This book, literally with a girl in blackface on the cover. Not even a girl. She's a fucking, I'm pretty sure she's an adult. I don't fucking remember. She might be a teenager. Crow Collar wants to simultaneously say, as a white person, I won't criticize race. I will force black people to be the only ones to actually criticize anti-blackness. That's totally what allyship looks like, right? And then the entire majority of the video is him claiming that it's not racism, and it's not about race, and it's not fair to call the author racist just because she did all of these racist things. Literally wants to have it both ways. Wants to be able to claim immunity from having to criticize the racism, because then, if you criticize racism and think racism is bad, you might have to look at your own actions and fucking calibrate your own moral compass and ask yourself if you've been doing any of these racist things and stop doing those. You might have to actually take the time to do some fucking self-improvement and actually do the fucking work. But Crow Collar, at least 3 years ago, didn't want to fucking do the work, and considering this video is still up, presumably still getting views and comments like the one we left saying, that's not fucking okay, that's fucking racist. I'm not the one who typed the comment, so I don't know what it says. It's probably not as straightforward as it should be. You don't get... This is a microcosm of white supremacy in a nutshell. You want to benefit from not having to do the hard work of criticizing racism while also having the privilege to gloss over racism and say it's not really a problem and it's not really racist. That's white supremacy in a nutshell. That's the microcosm version of it. And again, Crow Collar is not the only one doing this shit. I keep seeing this of people who are white people and non-black people in particular. I'm sure there's black people out there who do it too, because literally, people are people. And being part of a minority group does not in fact make you immune from being bigoted towards that or other minority groups. Love to pretend to be professional book reviewers and literary critics, and they'll criticize misogyny and call misogyny what it is, and recognize that a man who writes misogynistic caricatures is a misogynist. Doesn't even have to be based on anything else, but the fact that he's writing this shit means he is a misogynist. Because that's how morals work, that's how reality works. Let me get a drink. But as soon as it comes to discussing racism, now we have to put those little kid gloves on and assure everybody that just because an author writes blackface and pays someone to do blackface, just because an author does extremely racist things and writes extremely racist things, that doesn't mean they're racist. You can't possibly tell what someone's political views are or what their views on minorities are just from what they write in their fiction and non-fiction. And this is only ever applied to racism. Or, I mean, not even just only racism, but, like, mostly racism, and then forms of bigotry that don't personally impact the fucking person in question. Like, oh, you can't say that author is ableist just because she's been non-stop dehumanizing and making physically disabled people out to be scary serial killers for over a decade now. You can't know she's racist. I mean, you can't know she's ableist just because she keeps doing ableism. Suddenly books are mysterious, eldritch things beyond comprehension, and authors don't actually write them. They are just subject to the whims of some higher fucking power that forces them to put those specific words on the page in that specific fucking order. You don't see anybody claiming that blatant misogynist, insert blatant misogynistic male writer name here, isn't a misogynist. That's just fiction. And yet, it keeps happening with racism and other forms of bigotry that so-called progressives don't actually think are all that bad. So, here's a tip. If you are white, or even non-black, and you see somebody criticizing anti-blackness, or you see that somebody's written an anti-black story, and you decide to tell everybody, no, you can't assume that author is anti-black just because they wrote this anti-black thing. I want you to know that every time you say something like this, you are just signaling to everybody who actually thinks that anti-blackness is bad that you probably fucking agree with the shit that was written, or you probably write that shit yourself, but don't want to catch fucking flack for it. Because what other fucking reason is there for you to just rush in and try to assure everybody that just because you write shit that is so fucking anti-black racist that you literally pay somebody to wear blackface to promote it? What fucking compels you to assure everybody, no, just because you write this doesn't mean you're racist? Besides self-preservation, what are you trying to do? And why in the fuck are you defending racists who are this fucking racist? Literally paying someone to wear blackface. And Crow Collar thinks that it's unfair to call that author racist. And wants to treat the blackface as a funny little joke. Yeah. No, that's not how this shit fucking works. And I am sick and fucking tired of it. Especially from people who literally make their online career and persona about criticizing books and media and analyzing them and analyzing their themes and what they say about morals. But as soon as we start talking about racism, no, we can't tell that. That could mean anything. No, it means one thing. If you write racist shit, you are racist. Anybody who claims otherwise is also fucking racist. And if you don't want to be racist, don't do that shit and don't defend that shit. You, yeah. If you just keep doubling down and doubling down, instead of fucking apologizing and doing better, there's no end to that sentence. I don't care. And Crow Caller, if you're watching this, because your name will be in the fucking title, because, yes, this is a fucking call out. I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of this shit. Delete your fucking video and apologize. And fucking pay black people. Just do fucking mutual aid and pay black people personally for having to watch your video and having to deal with other white people who watched your video and internalized your fucking theme that just because you do racist things doesn't make you racist. You need to apologize. You need to do better. You need to actually make a real fucking change. And to everybody else watching/listening to this fucking video, you need to not follow that fucking suit. You need to not follow that fucking, I can't think of the goddamn word, that trope. Don't follow that path. Because too many fucking people are already doing it. And also, if you are white, and if you are non-black, and you see anti-blackness, you need to call it out. You need to criticize it. You need to call it exactly what it is. Do not pull your fucking punches to coddle the feelings of racists. Coddling the feelings of racists with cutesy little euphemisms and, oh no, I don't really think you're racist, I just blah blah blah. That doesn't fucking work. That doesn't fucking work. You just have to tell them flat out, this is racist. You are being racist right now. It doesn't work. Because if you just keep coddling their feelings and using cutesy little euphemisms, they will just keep ignoring it. You have to fucking call them racist. Because that's what they are. Because that's what they are doing. Racism isn't an insult. Being racist isn't an insult against you. It is a description of your actions. Your intentions do not matter. Your motivations do not matter. What matters is the impact that your actions have. And if you, as a white person, will get up on a fucking imaginary stage, in this case a video camera, and go on and on and on and on and on about a racist book, only to close it by saying it's not fair to call the author racist just because she wrote all this racism, and anyways, it wasn't about race anyways, and then say, oh, but I'm white, so I won't criticize racism. That's just white supremacy. You are upholding and directly participating in and benefiting from white supremacy when you do all that shit. If you actually want to dismantle white supremacy and actually want to call yourself not only not racist, but anti-racist, meaning you actually try to fucking stop racism at all points, then you need to stop that shit. You need to fucking apologize. And you need to fucking change. You need to start criticizing racism. You need to fucking start actually listening to black people and other people of color and listen when they tell you that you have to fucking call this shit out. That is literal rule number fucking 1. You have to actually call shit out for yourself. You cannot just keep forcing the actual black and brown people who are suffering racism to be the only ones criticizing it while you sit there needing to have your hand held by the actual fucking victims and told you're doing good enough by literally forcing them to do everything for you when you have the privilege to fucking help and you refuse it. Ending of this fucking video. Call racism what it fucking is. Stop defending white supremacy. Stop fucking defending white authors who write racist shit and fucking profit off of it and then pretend that they're, oh, I'm just doing racism, I don't know any better. Call racism what it is and stop this shit. Bye-bye.